Welcome to another episode of Take Foul. It is Tuesday, May 23rd. We are coming to you at the pretty much the end of the conference finals. They've been all but decided. I don't know,
Mushed the
basically,
hell out of the Heat there. My God, dude.
yeah.
Bet you wish.
The Heat are one game away. That is to start in about an hour and a half. But if a team is to come back from 0-3 down, I don't think it will be these Celtics. It's my personal opinion, going on the record. If I'm wrong, then so be it.
Can shoot you in the head.
So before we get into the series, just a few quick hits on some breaking stuff. Carmelo Anthony retired. Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Over the weekend?
No, I think it was like last summer or something.
I thought he'd been retired for a hot minute, dude. I'm gonna be honest.
Sure? Yeah.
He has officially retired. Yeah, I think he was retired in, the eyes of
He's
a lot
just
of
been staying
NBA
mellow
executives. Yeah, right. Yeah, apparently he was staying ready, and now he's gonna sink into the couch like the rest of us. But so that has sort of started we'll call it a debate of if the Nuggets should retire his number 15 number, and coincidentally Nikola Jokic also happens to be number 15, so it started the question of who is the better Nugget all time.
It's not even particularly close. It's how much better Jokic has been as a Nugget. Like I didn't think I was in the minority on this, but is MELO even all that great, dude? Like MELO is like, what did he really accomplish?
Number 9 on the all-time scoring list.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some scoring titles.
Yeah, I think he had one.
The one thing he can do is hit long range too. So I'll give him.
Let me go through it for you guys. So career stats: Jokic 20.5, 10.5 boards, 6.6 assists. MELO 22.5 points, 6 boards, 2 assists. Jokic 2 conference finals and 1 finals. MELO 1 conference finals. That's however they the playoff record. Jokic 2-time MVP. MELO 1 scoring title. Jokic 5-time All-Star in 8 seasons. MELO 10-time All-Star in 19 seasons. And I'll tell you something that MELO has other than the scoring title that Jokic does not have.
What?
I'll give you each a guess.
His wife's pussy smells like Cheerios.
Oh, okay, all right.
No.
Family show.
No. Family show.
He has an NCAA championship.
That's a good
True.
one. I actually did not think about that, but that is true.
Basketball Hall of Fame.
He has a gold medal.
Gold medal.
Yes. 4-time gold medalist Carmelo Anthony. 0-time gold medalist Jokic.
All right, hang up his jersey in West Point, but I don't know why the Nuggets would give a fuck.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think when all is said and done, I think Jokic will be there will be no debate.
Yeah, I mean, they're just gonna retire it for both of them, or it is kind of random that Jokic just chose 15. I actually hadn't even thought about it until MELO retired.
I think they just gave him 15 when he made the team.
Well, I think you.
What do you mean they gave him that?
Yeah,
I feel
I
like you
don't think
choose
they
to
had
extend.
I mean, there's only so many. You can only. All right.
There's plenty of numbers.
Think about it. You can only
finite amount of
there's
numbers.
You can only use 1 and 5.
100 of them.
Or you can only use 1 through 5s. There's not 100 of them.
What do you mean? You can use 6 and 7. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Oh no, it's a college rule. Damn, you're right. Never mind. There's infinite numbers. Numbers keep
there's
on
not
going.
there's not infinite numbers.
There are infinite numbers.
You can't have 3. There's not infinite jersey numbers.
Is that a rule? You can't have 3 digits?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are we sure?
Yeah.
Whatever. Look it up. We're moving on. God damn it. Yeah, this is a good first take topic, actually. Are there infinite jersey numbers? All right, whatever. So moving on to the draft lottery. So Victor Wembanyama, in theory, will be drafted by the San Antonio Spurs, who were able to land the number 1 spot. The Charlotte Hornets were at 2. The Portland Trailblazers shot up after some diligent tanking at the end of the season, although they still beat the Timberwolves somehow. And they were at 3, and Rockets at 4, and the poor Detroit Pistons were left out of the top 4 at number 5. I guess reactions to the order first.
I don't know. People were all like angry online about Spurs getting another generational big man, but they were bad. Like they went out something they weren't deserving with how bad of a basketball team they were. Yeah. I think the interesting conversation is Scoot or Miller. I guess I just checked. I guess Miller's now favorited to go number 2. Ahead of Scoot.
Depends who
and I think
you talk to, but yeah.
I just checked the betting odds.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that might be a better just kind of fit. Like Scoot might be the better player, but getting like such an efficient scorer in Miller might be a little bit better for Charlotte's needs. But again, bringing a guy who has some police issues in the past to Charlotte might not be what they're looking for right now, considering what has gone on with their team recently.
Well, it's a culture fit.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Think about it. Fits right in. James Bouknight.
Any team who picks Brandon Miller over Scoot Henderson is making a grave mistake.
He's not going to be available at 2, right? For you, it's Miller or Victor, right?
Well, it's Victor or Scoot, yeah. And the Spurs, I don't know, man. Victor, it's great. I saw that he's doing everything he can to fix his feet, working on injury prevention, everything. I'm not buying it. I think we might have another Greg Oden situation here. But yeah, I'd go Scoot first, second, third. Anywhere you can get him, just pick him. Best available. Number 1 on my board.
So Scoot over Miller for you for Charlotte.
He's saying Scoot over Victor for him.
I understand.
Yeah.
If he somehow falls to 2.
I hope for Scoot's sake he doesn't go to Charlotte. God, I really am not getting very excited about the first 4 teams picking. It doesn't. It seems like they're all kind of a year or 2 away. Besides maybe Portland, depending on what they do. But I guess the first 5.
That third pick's in play.
Yeah.
In the
trade
market
kind of weird
for
for
sure.
them if they pick Scoot, because then it's just a team of guards, and so it seems like they kind of have to trade that. I don't know. If Brandon Miller gets picked second, I don't know.
I agree with you, Ike, that I'm not super pumped about the potential location of these young stars, but at the same time, that's kind of how it should be in the draft. The bad teams should get
There's fun teams to watch that are bad, like the Thunder last year. Like you could be excited to watch Chet on the Thunder. Trailblazers like potentially could be fun. I don't know.
We never watched.
Who knows what they're going to do this offseason, but yeah, I hate the Hornets, so that sucks. And I
can't imagine them being good at all next year.
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of like Pitt.
They'll be better. I feel like they'll be better than definitely the other bad teams that were down there, right? Like they'll be better than Detroit. Kind of think they'll probably be better than the Bears.
I would say they're probably going to be better than Detroit, unfortunately, because Miles Bridges is probably going to play for that team, and he's a good player.
Yeah. I think Detroit's more fun.
What do you guys think about? There's some pretty outlandish things said about Victor that night, including best prospect in team sports history, and then okay, let's touch on that first. Do you guys think?
I think we did talk about.
We talked about this. We talked about this before, and you were saying, "Were you the ones?"
We did talk about this.
Yeah. He's bigger than Bron.
I'm buying.
Did you guys see that? No. Did you see that video from ESPN from I think it was right before LeBron got drafted, where it was Wilt Chamberlain, and then the next 40 years it was Larry Bird, Julius Erving, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, and then they put a high school LeBron James right after. I'm still taking Bron as number one.
Most hyped?
Yeah, most hyped prospect. We talked about first ever high school basketball game shown. LeBron James on ESPN.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's LeBron. It's not. I don't think it's
the chosen one.
That all checks out to me, but I think that if Victor was American, I think the hype would be comparable, if not more.
Well, maybe that's because he's not playing against anyone but a bunch of farmers.
He's in a farmer league. Yeah,
bunch of farmers,
literal plumbers over there.
I'm just saying, LeBron James, when he was in his high school years, was in Akron, Ohio, eating Wendy's. Okay.
He was poor. Are you poor shaming him right now?
No. Okay. None of this. But Victor Wembanyama is getting internationally renowned development and care. And the man sleeps 11 hours a night and is in just peak form to be able to explode. And I think that, I don't know. I think Chris Broussard or something was
oh God,
if he becomes Anthony Davis or Kevin Durant, then he is a failure. I was bro.
I swear to God, Chris Broussard.
It was
never want his name again on this podcast.
Right.
He needs a Tim Duncan, Jordan, Bill Russell type career in order to be deemed a success, right? He has to at least win 5 or some shit, which is just insane, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like people are now just buying in extra now that he is going to the Spurs and playing for Popovich, and we don't even know how long Popovich is going to be around.
I was going to say, is Popovich going to die before
coaching the Spurs? A chance to win all 5?
Yeah, maybe if it's up to Ike.
One last thing about him. I do think the Spurs were probably the best destination for him to end up, just kind of with
competence.
Yeah, of developing players.
Yeah,
and I do think it's fun, the whole Tony Parker thing, and then there's so many pictures of him and Tony Parker growing up.
Yeah, I agree. I think that other bad teams sort of had people that could sort of grow into become franchise cornerstones. The Spurs did not. So it's immediately Victor's team. It's not Victor and Cade or Victor and LaMelo.
LaMelo.
Or obviously Dame is Dame. Last thing.
Before we switch off, just let me drop one. There is a chance Victor could be the second best French player in this draft. Just keep an eye out for Ryan Repair.
No, you've mentioned Ryan Repair before during your hating hours.
Stud.
Yeah.
Stud. Just dropping that in.
Just What position?
With that.
What position?
He's a wing.
Okay. All right. Marking it up.
Yeah, I also am a little curious to see what the Rockets will do with pick 4, because they've already publicly stated that they want to be better, and they're done with the aggressive tanking, I guess. I mean, I'm not sure how much of it was by choice.
Well, yeah, it's
because they're just awful.
Yeah.
The Jabari Smith Jr.'s tweet when someone posted the Victor's reaction to the Rockets losing the sweepstakes on him, that he's taking notes. Yeah, that's spooky.
Oh man. Anyway, yeah, so I think that pick's probably in play for trading as well.
Yeah. There's just a report that came out that they're going after every free agent that they can, including James Harden. It seems like James Harden's more likely than not going back to the Rockets. And then a report came out that they're going to be going after Austin Reeves, Dylan Brooks, and there's a third.
There's been some Jaylen Brown rumors in the mill as well.
If they got every one of those players, that still does not make them very good. That's still not going to be that great.
They got James Harden.
That's
Bro, what about Sengun?
Yeah. Oh, Sengun.
LP. Yeah, and it was also sort of funny that Ime Udoka made his first sort of public appearance at the draft lottery. It was man, you can't give that guy weird. Number 1, bro. You can't do that.
Yeah, the minute he walked in there, they're at 4.
Yeah. All right. Take a quick break. Okay, so the Denver Nuggets completed the sweep of the Lakers last night in a pretty competitive 113-111 game. The Lakers were up by 13 at half. Nuggets came back, outscored them by 20 points or something, in the third quarter. Brought it back. It was competitive down the stretch, and now the Lakers are swept.
Yeah.
Reactions?
What I think sucks the most for Lakers fans, I think it's funny. I think it's fucking hilarious. Is how kind of close these games were to get swept. It wasn't it's not the same feeling with the Heat and the Celtics when they just get blown out when they go to the road by 30 or whatever. These games are very obtainable and winnable, and you could not get a single one. I feel that shows that there's some pretty big question marks, within the team. Obviously, what were they, the 7th seed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess expectations weren't this far going ahead, but whenever you have LeBron on a roster, expectations kind of finals or bust a little bit, So to go into the conference finals after beating Steph Curry, I feel they were on an all-time high. Just to have such a letdown in such a weird fashion I think is tough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, reminds you of the Timberwolves series a little bit. Except Wolves got one, of course, but
no one assaulted anyone in Denver, though.
No, they could literally consider anything they want assault. So
yeah, LeBron was given some looks on his way down the tunnel. I'm surprised no one filed charges. Yeah, I think a couple things. as far as Darvin Ham's performance, I thought that he did decently. I think that the move to start Hachimura and relegate D'Angelo Russell
I like that he wasn't afraid to like change stuff. Like he didn't.
I thought that was a little late, considering like they were getting success before that. And I'm not gonna say like there's that whole narrative after game one where it was like, oh, like the Lakers like figured it out. They put Hachimura on Jokic and used AD as the roamer, and now like they're gonna be using this all the time next game. And I was like, Mike Malone and the Nuggets and Jokic are gonna figure this out. Like it's gonna be fine for them.
Yeah,
but
it's
I
like
also
what Mike was saying.
Yeah,
where like you did everything you could and you still lost, and then like that maybe seems as close as you could get. I don't know.
Yeah. And then like there were a few weird things in that game as well, like Tristan Thompson coming on. And he got a full-on ISO post-up on Jamal Murray. I was flabbergasted. I was like, oh my, it is an elimination game, and it just like totally bricks. Tristan Thompson was not playing basketball. He was on ESPN. He was he did not. I don't know. Whatever. He was hustling, I guess.
He was being interesting. He did what you could really expect out of him. Like I don't know what could have gone
older. Like
it's like I don't know what was going through their mind either. But like I feel like that was the only outcome going to happen. Was
that. Yeah. I thought AD was pretty poor through three quarters, and then he sort of like stepped it up in the fourth a little bit. But I just, there's guys like AD and Tatum who are stars statistically, and like when they're on, they're so good and like top of the world type players, but they just have this propensity to disappear sometimes during stretches throughout games or entire games themselves. So I don't know. He pairs really well with LeBron, but sometimes it's like, man, like
sometimes it seems like he doesn't want to fucking play basketball. Like it sometimes seems like he just doesn't really want to play. He's all that interested in being a basketball player, and like I think part of that is we're so accustomed to seeing like these number one guys who just completely take over, and that's our expectation of like everyone who's like the number one guy, that like we might need to adjust what we think when we think of like a team. Like he's not like Jimmy Butler, who's going to go and just get you every point on offense, right? He's a guy who kind of needs someone to carry a bit of the load because it's a lot on him, and when I think he's overstressed, he doesn't perform as well.
Yeah, they didn't really have a third guy who kind of stepped up when he went missing, and I don't know. A lot of guys, he didn't do enough, white boy. Some guys went missing. D's still loading. I don't know. Yeah.
I just Austin Reeves.
Austin, he added like 10, 15 million to his contract. Good for him, but he's not going to be a third option on a great team.
Boy.
Okay, I mean, I sort of agree with you, but I also think that it was pretty apparent how, I don't know, it was a really, really successful playoffs for Austin Reeves. And
I don't blame him for anything, but like he overperformed 100%.
Pretty easy. So like if you have LeBron and AD around you, I don't know. Like I feel like the focus becomes so crucial on making sure those guys don't score that it opens up. Like we had Lonnie Walker go off for like 15 and a quarter once. I mean, Lonnie Walker's like I feel like the Austin Reeves hype is going to be way too big, and someone's going to write too big of a check, and it's going to screw them over.
Maybe so, and like that's it's a good point about like LeBron and AD taking up most of the time, but like I don't know, stuff. There's a reason that it was LeBron, AD, and Reeves, and then two guys who were interchangeable, whether it be Lonnie Walker if he's shooting well, whether it be Hachimura, or whether it be D'Angelo Russell or Schroeder, or Vanderbilt, and like all those other guys are interchangeable, but AR-15 is there. And the reason he's there is that he's just a smart basketball player that like somehow gets a ton of fouls. Big flopper. He's a flop and a half. A big flopper. Yeah, but the main thing is that he makes really good decisions and like isn't afraid of the moment. And I think that a lot of teams who are competing like will really value players like that. I'm not sure how much better he is than like, I don't know, like Contavious Caldwell Pope, but
he's not.
I think he's better, but I think he will command that sort of money, and I'm not sure if it's an overpay.
I'd be nervous, but like I think he kind of has done enough to get the money from someone, but like if you're a really good team that has to kind of shell that out, I think that limits you a lot. And what, like, I think part of the reason we're so like happy with it is because he's like not paid right now, and like he stepped up into what he's not supposed to be doing. But I think once you get $20 million, that's like a whole nother.
Would you want your team to give him 20 mil?
No.
No shot, right? You would want the Wolves to pay this man?
Yes.
Are you kidding?
The Wolves literally couldn't, but like, nah.
I give Austin Reeves $20 million. Would love a guy like that on the Wolves. Why not?
Shot. I disagree. Like, but pretty fundamentally, I think the Lakers get a lot of calls in general. I'm not saying they're not fouls. Like, I'm not saying when they're like LeBron's driving the lane, he's not getting hacked, right? But how much that team goes to the line and how much they did go to the line with every other series, like I think it is. I don't know. I think there's some level of it that they get fouls because of the Lakers. I don't think he gets those calls in other situations. If he was playing for Houston this year, I don't think he gets to the line all that often.
That's a good point. AR-15 without a Lakers whistle. Don't know what that looks like. But I'd be okay. Just on the Nuggets side, since we talked a lot about the Lakers, I thought it was hilarious how much Mark Jackson was like, I gotta say, Mike, like, this Jokic guy, like, he is an unbelievable player. And it was like, bro, like, what have you been watching?
Also,
then, he has.
We forgot. I don't know if we forgot to touch on it or if it came out after our last episode, but the whole
Lisa Salters
forgetting Mark Jackson forgetting forgetting about him as a human. Like, how do you keep your NBA or your MVP vote? Like, what could you display a higher level of incompetence than forgetting about the guy who won the MVP the last 2 years and then just saying like, I genuinely forgot?
I mean, that's why the vote itself is a joke. Like, a lot of I don't.
Yeah, give me the vote.
Give us the vote.
You take out a vote.
Has a vote.
I have a question. I hate Mike Malone. Not a question, a statement. I think Mike Malone fucking sucks. I think he is the worst guy. But he might be a very good basketball coach, and I might have to come around to that. What are your guys' thoughts on Mike?
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think he's annoying as hell. I think he likes to whine and moan and like play up the whole underdog thing and like bitch and moan about how like they're ignoring Nikola Jokic's greatness. Like, bro, he was a 2-time MVP. Who that was voted. Like, who ignoring him? Whatever. Yeah, Mark Jackson. Other than Mark Jackson, Lisa Salters, who just like do not know about this man somehow.
Discovered him this year.
Like living under a rock. But yeah, I thought it was a good ass adjustment to put Aaron Gordon at center during those non-Jokic minutes. and like
Gordon played fantastic.
Oh my god,
yeah, he was terrific.
Really, yeah, he's hitting those threes that he wasn't hitting before. That just unlocks so much for them as well. I think he is a very good offensive coach.
Yeah. Jamal Murray, back to bubble Jamal. It's pretty insane.
Dick sucking Jamal. I mean,
huh?
Low job, Jamal.
Okay, sure, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, Nuggets.
That form.
Yeah, come on. Nuggets should take this one easily. Just finish off the job here. Yeah.
In the finals.
Take what one easily? In the finals?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, more on that later. We'll get to that later. We got to touch on LeBron retiring.
Cryptic as hell, LeBron again.
He doesn't know if he's gonna can be with the team next year or something. I don't know. Whatever. Some people think it's a play. Some people think there's sincerity to it. Some people think he's gonna rest for a year and then try to go play with Bronny and sign a vet minimum somewhere.
Feels like either just a year off or him being the GM and just like trying to force the Lakers' hand maybe into like, if they don't do what he wants this offseason, then maybe he'll chill for a year and decide. But yeah, I don't think he's retiring, right? Because he's like always said, my dream is to play with my son. Like, I don't think he's quitting.
This man is just black Aaron Rodgers, dude. He loves holding. Yeah, he is. Like in the sense of the way they handle their team.
He's never threatened to retire before. Like
he holds his team. He forces people that he wants on his team onto his team.
Right? Aaron Rodgers is not the only superstar in the world to do that.
I'm not saying he isn't, but Aaron Rodgers is another one.
Retreats.
I think that it's very likely that I think he sits out a year and just waits to see what Bronny does. But then I'm kind of curious on, do we think Bronny's going to be a one and done player at USC? I don't know if that's necessarily 100% the case.
Dude, he shouldn't.
No.
Yeah. I feel like all the scouts are like, in any other situation, a player at this level would not be like a one and done.
No.
But I guess, if you know a GM's going to pick you up and give you a shot to just get your dad, maybe.
Le GM.
Bronny
number 1 overall.
Is it worth it?
Tank for Bronny? Tank for both Brons?
Yeah, tank for the James family. Please, Tim Conley.
I saw a really creepy Bleacher Report notification about LeBron's youngest son switching schools, just completely unrelated to anything. Just putting this creepy ass Bleacher Report.
They be following kids.
High schoolers, yeah. Seriously. Thanks.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's playing with someone's kid, Rip Hamilton's kid.
I feel like I saw that.
Yeah.
Rip.
My sense is that he's not going to retire after getting swept.
Yeah, that's also the worst way to go out.
Right.
Like, you can't do that.
Like, if you got a game, then it's like, I think this is sort of a similar, like, was it Messi after, like, the Copa America or something? Or was it the World Cup? Where he's like,
when he retired from Argentina?
Yeah, where he lost. He's like, I'm done.
He lost to Chile.
I've had enough of this.
Copa America.
Yeah, Copa America. Yeah, that's what it was. It's like,
he's retired a couple times.
Yeah. And when you just get your ass kicked.
You just get some time off. Yeah.
You like, time off, I don't know. Yeah, if I played 48 minutes, I'd be like, I'm done with basketball probably.
148-minute game.
Did you see in his press conference after you can tell the whole lying jokes are kind of getting to him.
Yeah, I did see that.
After everything he says now, he's like, "You guys probably think I'm lying, but
he was wrong about that."
Yeah,
he was wrong about that.
He was lying. He was lying about that.
The game was in Minnesota. The game was in Minnesota.
Oh my god, bro! He's like, you can look it up.
I think he meant his first game in Denver. like his first.
But like, why?
I don't know.
That's just not what he said. That's just I saw that counter too, but it's just.
A question about LeBron: do we think he can chase his coveted number 3? If he had a good shot, if this was probably his best shot at getting it.
I think I agree with that. I think I agree with that statement, Mike. There is a path to ring number 5. I think, and I think it goes. It is LeBron to the Golden State Warriors.
Oh my God, it would be murder suicide, dude. That'd be the most diabolical thing.
You know, Draymond's on the phone.
Could you imagine Draymond if he left the Warriors and then LeBron joined?
You know, Draymond is sending nudes to LeBron right now.
Dude, that man has been actually glazing. That man is probably in his DMs.
Yeah, I mean, you know, whether it's Draymond Green or Draymond Green, you know, the parody account that a lot of us have fallen for in this.
That was your fault. You brought attention to that account.
Yeah. Well, hey man, I'm sorry, my internet literacy is pretty good, but I don't know. With the Lakers, I think the window is closed.
Yeah, and the Lakers are going to be bad too.
Yeah,
like the Lakers are in deep trouble.
Well, I don't know if they're going to be bad. I think they're still.
Dude, if he leaves.
Good. Oh, if he leaves, yeah, sure.
Yeah, if he leaves, what are they going to do?
They're done.
If he leaves, it feels like AD might just quit too.
Yeah,
AD doesn't have the will for that.
Yeah,
he left with no picks.
I'm finna retire. Yeah, there's like, I don't know. I've also heard some rumblings about Kyrie, but I don't even think if Kyrie joined that team, I still don't think they would win the title.
Now I'm interested. Now
adding Kyrie to your team automatically means skyrocket up.
Last time Kyrie and LeBron were in the same city, what happened?
I'm just saying, well, you know, we've seen what happened with Kyrie and Luka, Kyrie and Durant.
LeBron's the Kyrie tamer. LeBron's the Kyrie tamer.
Allegedly.
We know this.
Allegedly.
There's no taming that man.
All right. Any last thoughts on? One last thought from me on Nuggets Lakers. Just like to say, Game 4. Jared Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley, DMP CDs, D'Angelo Russell, 15 minutes off the bench, 4 points, 2 fouls.
Yeah, I wish they would stop holding him back, man.
Oof.
Sucks.
Oof.
I wish I could see D'Lo cook.
Yeah,
again,
I guess we got fleeced. I
guess like he has to go to the Hornets or something.
You guys are so salty.
That's crazy because
you two are so salty.
I mean,
I guess we just gotta like.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine getting swept by the Nuggets either. To be honest,
it could never be you. Yeah, it could never be you.
I think D'Lo just wants to like be the best player on a horrible team, and you know he should just find a city where he can do that because he's a loser. And good teams hold him back for a reason.
Yeah. It's a good point. All right. Any last thoughts? Okay. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll get into Heat Celtics. All right. So the Heat beat the Celtics in Game 3 on Saturday. And it was ugly pretty early on. It was, you know, they just got punked and seemed to have given up pretty early. I think the owner came up to Joe Maz at some point and was like, "Hey man, like you got to pull the starters," and he's like, "Yeah, I am." Just like, as a coach, like, to be hearing something like that from the owner is, the owner has the gall to like be able to do that in the first place. I don't know. It's bad. 0-3 hole for the Celtics. And like, who knows what'll happen tonight, but it's not looking too pretty.
Yeah. I don't know. And you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here. You know who I'm blaming for this Celtic situation?
Uh-oh.
Brad Stevens. He's sitting up there in his box watching Joe Mazzula fucking just throw this roster away. Everything that Brad Stevens has tried to build and create over the past 15 years is just going down the dumpster right now.
I don't know about your timeline there.
How long has he been? When did he become their coach?
15 years?
Yeah. I think probably like 7 or 8.
What?
Maybe less.
No, what? No.
He stopped
Someone
being their
look it
coach like 2-3 years ago.
When did he enter their organization?
He was asked to stop being. That's just ridiculous, by the way.
15 years would have been like the Doc Rivers.
Brad Stevens was 2013 to 2021.
10 years.
And then he was Udoka from 21-22, Joe Maz 22 to present.
He spent a decade building this, and
tonight.
He's watching it all be thrown away. You know, like
You're blaming him for it?
I'm just saying, like, a little bit. I feel like
he could probably step in. Thing.
Yeah, and he's just willfully letting Joe Mazzula toss
Here's
down
what
the
I'll
garbage.
agree with you with. Why not fire Mazzula yesterday? You know, what's the downside there?
Tag in. I think that's what Mike's saying, actually.
That's exactly what I'm saying. He could just take over the spot.
Yeah.
Or you think they'd be better? You think they'd be better if Brad Stevens became the coach?
Well, Brad Stevens was like removed as head coach. He didn't just like.
He moved up into the front office.
Yeah, that's not really necessarily.
What is his role?
He's the like GM, maybe president.
I thought he was like director of operations or something.
He's the GM.
Essentially, he's the GM.
So he's the GM. Yeah. So I think he would. He is the one who's going to have say in who the head coach is, right?
I don't know about that.
What?
It's probably like the owner, and like he probably has a say, but I think the owner probably.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, obviously the buck stops at the owner, but like it's really the owner follows Brad Stevens' advice.
What Mike wants is a Flip Saunders situation, where Flip Saunders heads into the front office, fires the coach, takes over for the next year and a half or two, and then.
Yes. Are you saying that was wrong? Well,
no, I'm saying this is what you want.
Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. I think there would be much. But
okay, what are some of the things that like Mazzula? What are some of like the glaring things that Mazzula has been doing wrong? You think?
I mean, it seems like he just doesn't have them prepared defensively, or like kind of like ready to play. Like their biggest thing is they don't really play that great of defense. And like they haven't played like great defense the whole time, and I think that was the biggest difference between the Ime team and this team is the Ime team they were getting up to play defense. This team is not getting up to play D.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Timeouts just befuddle me. I just don't understand. Like it's been the entire playoffs where it's like at some point it's like. I don't understand if his philosophy is just kind of like letting him play it out, if that's what he did during the regular season more, or if it's just like coach, like call a timeout and do some coach, like make adjustments.
I think he's afraid to call those timeouts because he doesn't know what to say when he calls those timeouts. Like, I don't think he's prepared. I think he would call it and just be like, uh-oh. Like, what am I going to do? I don't think he has anything.
Yeah, they could probably do an entire mic'd up. You know how they do that on like ESPN and TNT? Like they'll be like inside the game. But it's like it's always like the most like basic obscure thing, like just like the tail end of a timeout where like the coach is like come together and rebound. Like it'd just be that, you know, it'd just be Mazzula being like, all right, let's shoot the ball, like let's kick it out, let's find each other, let's, you know, like we got to rebound, we got to play defense.
It just quotes from the town the whole time. Right, just quoting the town.
Yeah. Did you see Sam Russillo and Simmons were like, yeah, I bet you Grant Williams just like before every game runs up to like midcourt and just steals the mic for Mic'd Up. Like,
yeah. I just see that. I did see that.
Williams is good. Such a tool, dude. I hate that guy. Really, but honestly, I don't like blame him as much for the Jimmy stuff as everyone else, because like that's like the first instance of a Celtics player trying this series or being like, having any grit.
That was just playing basketball. Like I think he was just like trying to, like, and then he's not as good as Jimmy Butler, but Jimmy Butler just bullied him by kept getting him switched onto him over and over again. That was
the thing about Grant Williams is he's not good. So tough spot.
Yeah, not great. Him and Derek White just getting hunted by Jimmy.
Derek White can't play defense on Jimmy either.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wait, what was he? Second team defensive All NBA. Oh my God.
That was shocking.
What a shocking. Like travesty.
I don't like Jimmy going. I'm a Jimmy guy, but I don't like him going after Big Al. That was rude.
The timeout celebration.
Yeah.
Jimmy's gonna Jimmy,
Yeah.
And a few questions. In terms of like what teams can sort of take away from this Heat run, obviously it's like there's a lot of teams looking at this being like, oh God, like if only our organization could do, if only our team could do something like this, like what would some of those things be?
So I'm gonna have to eat my words a little bit on this one, but I declared Heat culture dead. It is not dead. I did in my article.
Oh,
it is not dead. Yeah, it is not dead, and this is.
Another cold ass mic take.
Incredible. It is alive and well, and I think like it begins and ends with Spoelstra. Like I think he is just like the I guess Pat Riley gave the keys to Spoelstra, and Spoelstra's taking it over, but Spoelstra might be the best is the best coach in the NBA, and it's not even close, No, so I think it'd be close. A really hard thing to replicate when you don't have guys, and people always like saying, "Oh, make jokes about Udonis Haslem," but I think he probably does bring something to the table. Like he probably brings.
You're right, coach. He doesn't have to be a fucking player.
Well, I'm just saying, like he's doing something. Like
he's doing shit as a player.
It's like
he had 20 coach. In that last game, Mike.
Don't forget.
Good for him.
And they did the same thing with Juwan Howard, though, right? Like it's like having that old veteran who keeps your guys like kind of tough. Like I don't know, like
that's fine to have at the end of your bench.
You got guys like Max Strus playing unbelievable defense. Like this guy doesn't play. This guy's not that good. Yeah. He's locking up everybody. Like it's crazy. Gabriel Vincent is going nuts. Like what is this?
Dude. Like I talk about maximizing your roster output. Like these guys, freaking, I don't know. Duncan Robinson like didn't play all year. Suddenly comes on and is like blowing past people. Coming off screens. I mean, we know you can do that, but it's like, wow.
Does Hero walk back into this roster in the finals or no?
I saw some reports today that he will not be back.
He's not going to be back?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, I feel like it would have been really hard for them to make that trick, because who do you take minutes from? Like, who on this team do you take minutes from and give him to Hero if he was able to come back? I don't see anyone who has not been playing to their utmost ability and been helping your team win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they would probably take Duncan's, but honestly,
just to think,
harsh, but
just to think that the Bulls were up with under 3 minutes to go.
This was the Bulls. This could have been Chicago. I was thinking about this.
No.
The Bulls were up 4 with 2:38 left.
No.
Max Bruce hit some bullshit 3. We turn over the ball twice in a row, and we just can't. Like, it was rap. This could have been Chicago. You know,
no, it couldn't.
Okay, it could not have been Chicago. All right,
we don't know that,
but I think we do. I think the zones have been interesting. I heard on somewhere that like this is like the most zone a team in the NBA has played in like 19 seasons or something like that. I think that again to your point earlier, there's not a lot of coaches that can implement this sort of aggressive zone defense, and like I mean part of it is like hiding guys like Duncan Robinson and like Kevin Love and stuff.
Not letting them get isolated.
Yeah, but it's also like, and it it goes to credit the player that like Bam is as well defensively, but I do wonder, like I like it when teams mix up their defense. You probably shouldn't go zone as much as Miami does if you're a different team, but mix it up, whatever. Throw some new
I hate zone defenses. I think they're like for the most part. I think they're pretty lazy. I think it just means you can't play good defense. But
this is a predictable take.
Yeah, to get guys to buy into playing zone at the NBA level is incredible. It only works if they're willing to do it and they're willing to buy in and like actually play it correctly. And I'm astonished.
With the Heat, it seems like instead of kind of doing it as a counter, sometimes they're more doing it kind of like to throw teams off, which like it seems more intentional than rather like we're getting fucked over. So it's kind of like them taking initiative, and that's another part of like Spoelstra having like a defined, like he does it for a reason. He's not just playing zone. Like I don't. That's just like
he's not just trying to try it out.
Yeah, it's not reactive.
Yeah.
You're doing it to like, or sorry, you're doing everything kind of on purpose. It even seems like that on offense, which is just kind of like a display of like a well-coached team. And it's like you can swap guys in and out and it won't be glaring. So yeah, I don't know. Reflects well on him.
Did you see the sorry, Ben. I was gonna say, did you see the stat that Jimmy has become like the highest, the most points scored Heat player in the single playoffs or something?
Oh,
didn't see that. That seems surprising. Like in one, how is that possible? Because LeBron played like all the way.
Oh, maybe it was in a 13 game stretch. I think 13.
Yes, that seems like nitpicking. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is interesting to see. There's always this like you lean on your stars in the playoffs. And the stars that have been the best with Jokic and Jimmy are going to the finals, like the two best players.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't know. That sort of checks out. It's interesting. I was talking to my roommate a little bit about this, where he was like, what do you think about the strategy of heavily load managing and like getting a low seed, like the 7th or 8th seed, or I don't know, 7th or 8th seed? I was like, immediately I was like, you don't want to be in the play-in, that doesn't make sense. But whatever, 6, 7, 8, and basically like you're if you want to win the finals, if you think you have a chance to winning the finals, you have to beat the best teams in the conference anyway, so why not do it first?
No.
First off, your roommate sounds like an idiot.
That guy does not know ball.
He does not know ball. I was just saying he does not know ball.
He sounds like a moron. First and foremost, he sounds like an idiot. Second of all, I mean, you just saw it with the Bulls and the Heat. Like you just said, like they were
so close
from just like completely missing it. But yeah, I don't know. I think to give the Heat credit, or like even say they did this on purpose, would be super generous. Like I don't think they tried to be shitty during the regular season. I think I just think they just
They
weren't
weren't
clicking.
great.
Like
Yeah.
yeah.
And then going off that, as much as it's been impressive, and I really am like not to take away from them, they've had some fortunate bounces. With how things have kind of played out. Like
Also their
Giannis getting
shooting
hurt.
is just like unbelievable. Like
Sure.
they're making yeah, it's just a level
Yeah. Giannis
above.
getting hurt first round. They probably played a worse team in the second round than they probably should have if Cleveland would have probably won, right?
Played a worse team in the second round than
And
the
then
first.
the Celtics going to 7 with Philly, that's a lot of games played, right? So like as much as they've been playing really well, like they've had to have a couple fortunate bounces being where they were put. So I wouldn't say like teams should be wanting to get lower seeds to go play better teams because that takes away a home game that you get guaranteed every series.
Yeah, do I think home games matter less? Probably. Yeah, I think I would agree with that, but I don't think there's yeah, I don't know. Again, to your point, like if you ask Spoelstra, like, oh, were you guys trying to be the A seed? He'd be like, no, bro. Like, I wish we won more. I wish we won more games. Like, fuck.
I think it's something like they had a minus point differential during the regular season, and if they do win it, I think it'd be like the first ever team to do that.
Did you see my man Eric fucking drinking in the press conference?
Who?
He was drinking. He had Eric Spoelstra.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah, he had a cup. They were like, "Oh, it's in the." Like, he usually drink out of clear cups, but then they like mind your business. It was funny.
Hell yeah.
Maybe it's steroids.
Yeah.
Extra juice.
And I think that on this point, it's all about giving your team the best chance to win a championship, right? And like that's why there's toying with the balance between risking, wearing out your stars during the regular season versus seeding. But all of that is done and tried to be calculated. Obviously there's so much that can't be planned for by teams that think they have a chance, like a sliver of a chance to win the NBA championship. So
yeah,
this sort of is a segue into my next point that if the Celtics get swept, I don't think they should break up Tatum and Brown. I think
that's so reactionary towards what's been happening. I think you fire Mazzula for sure, but I think you keep your core with what it is. I think.
Yeah, I think they could toy around the edges. I think that I don't know. My guy Kevin O'Connor was saying like this team is maxed out. Like they've shown that they can't win at the pinnacle level.
Well, maxing out in the finals against the Warriors is like
I know it's right? Like man, like that it's for
arrogant.
A team to be consistently making conference finals. I think that's enough variance on the other teams in the NBA that you can be confident to keep your core together long term.
And their core is so young.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
They're so young.
Like Tatum, their best player is 25, right? Or is he 24? I think he's 25.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like the peak, the rings, all that stuff doesn't come until you're in your late 20s.
Yeah, he's not even in his prime yet. Yeah.
No, he's still gonna get better.
Yeah, like he will get better. And like I don't know, I think if they get swept, the talks of I understand like the Jaylen Brown being in like KD trade rumors and stuff over the summer, like that, that whatever. That's something he's thinking about. I don't think you break them up. And I don't think there's any existential questions that will be forced upon this team,
Yeah.
other than the coach, which is pretty glaring and obvious.
But like, this is the best time to be in need of a new head coach with the quality coaches that are on the market right now. Like, I could not imagine a better time for the Celtics to go looking for a new coach, because you're gonna have the pick of the litter, essentially.
Yeah, and they'll be like either them or the Bucks will be the one that the best coaches want to go to.
Yeah.
So
totally, yeah.
Doc
Rivers back in Boston.
I was thinking that. I don't know. You see Frank Vogel spotted in Philly?
Oh.
Yeah. No.
Vogel? Not down with
that guy's
Vogel?
A puppet. That guy's a puppet.
You think he was a lip puppet?
Yeah. The coach. For the coach.
All right. Well, Nuggets Heat in the finals, more likely than not, by a large margin, I think, more likely than not. Possibly tonight. Nuggets Heat, Ike, who you got
Nuggets
in how many games?
Nuggets in 5.
I picked the Heat to come out of the East, and I'm sticking with the Heat. I'm taking the Heat in a thrilling 7-game series. Jimmy Butler is going to drop a 54-piece in Game 7 to win the championship.
I would love to see that. I obviously, as a salty, saline person, would not like to see Jimmy Butler get a ring.
He played for the Bulls too. It's time to forgive and forget.
I understand, but it was a different story. But for basketball's sake, I would like to see an extended 7-game series, because we're having some fucking sweeps in the conference finals where people really thought that both of these series would be more extended, I think. And that sucks. But I think I'm going to take the Nuggets in 6. I think they're a better team. I think that there will be, some Heat culture moments, but ultimately, I don't think there's a zone that cancels out Jokic. In any way.
Nuggets are a way tougher team too than the Celtics.
Yeah, mentally. Oh my god.
Mentally, yeah.
Michael Porter Jr. playing against the zone, dude. I cannot wait to see the shots that are going up. The shots that are being thrown up at the hoop.
Oh my god. This was actually one of my points in my notes from Game 3 that I wanted to talk about. He swung the rock. Michael never swing the rock. Porter Jr. swung the rock. He had 6 assists.
Insane.
He had 6 assists. Game 4, 1 assist, 5 of 16, 3 attempt from 3. He was right back at it. But
came back after. We love that.
But yeah, that it is funny. It's like, I wonder how good of a player he would be on any other team where you'd be taking objectively worse shots, even though so many of them are just so contested. But
doesn't matter. Does not matter.
Don't matter. And actually, I'm gonna go out and say, if they are wide open, then he's not hitting them.
Yeah, you don't like it. It's not his fault.
Unless he's fading away in the corner and there's a hand in his face and he gets bumped in the air, he's not hitting that shit.
Yeah.
All right.
PG.
We'll wrap us up.
Let's do what the Heat are not going to be able to do for another 3 days and wrap it up. This one's going
5?
6. 5 or 6.
3 days would be fine.
You do the math on it. I don't care to.
I'll see.
They're not wrapping it up soon. That's
Game 7 on Saturday. Let's go.
Wait, real quick before we can talk about this.
What is it? What do you want?
Can they move up if the Heat win?
No.
Can they move? They can't move the final dates.
No, they're just gonna be chilling.
Oh yeah. There's gonna be a ton of no basketball.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Tremendous anticipation.
Yeah, sucks.
Wrap it up, fellas. Wrap it up. Woo, woo, woo.